Good morning, Nerdcrafters. This is my base. I'm the TheMeFund. So, as you can see, I set up in a desert biome. So I basically went southeast from spawn as far as I could go until I hit the edge of the world, which is over here. Edge of the world. And then just sort of set up. Now, the problem for me is twofold. One, I don't do a lot of design work, so at one point this kind of looked like a penis until I added the, you'll see, this craft, or the TheMeCrafter over here. Kind of looked like a penis. You can sort of see it still. A little bit inappropriate, but yeah, I tried to fix that. And then, so I wanted to come to the edge of the world just because I didn't want anybody to mess with me, but it ended up being a desert biome, which ultimately proved really bad for my bees. So I had to go through a lot of process for the bees, which also was over here, to get them to do their thing, and ultimately it didn't work out because I didn't have enough time because school got super busy, which I'm sure everybody knows. I was also going to do something with these cows over here, but I never did. So let's go home. So home. If I'm not floating, my home has a charging mat, which was only useful before I didn't have the ultimate solar helmet. So now I have that, so it charges everything, but prior to that I needed to have a quick way to charge, so I just go home and then I'd land on a little plate and it'd be all good. So home actually exists one block above this, because if you don't know, you can't spawn directly on it. I would spawn over here because there's actually a little hitbox there, which is kind of a pain in the butt, but oh well. So my base is entirely lava powered, and this is also the first time I've done, as I said, this is really the first time I've ever done any kind of design for a base. The last season, or the first iteration of FTB, I just dug a big hole in the ground and went with a one chunk base. The previous season, I don't remember what I had done. I think it was big. Oh, yeah, I remember. It was the I had a combined base with a couple other people, and they'd done some design work, but I mostly just worked. So, lots of talking here. The bottom line is I like to create systems, and I like to create them as compactly as possible. So I was really overjoyed when we got the ME system in this particular pack, because it does pretty much everything I ever wanted to do in Minecraft, as far as sorting my items and doing all the stuff I want to do. It does it all, and I don't have to set up a big elaborate system like I did last year, or last season, or iteration, or whatever we want to call it. So I had in the last one I had like a big room full of barrels that ultimately my whole I tried to make it as small on the lag as possible, but ultimately my one chunk became a little bit laggy for most people because it was doing so much stuff, because it was having to process all these little items into different barrels and storage containers and stuff. So this thing is awesome. Obviously most people know about it, most people have them in their base, they're amazing. I have not been super active this season, so I don't have all of mine full. Also, I just made I had to make 2 gravit chest plates and 2 I had to make 2 of all my most expensive armor, which ultimately cleared out a lot of this stuff, and I haven't played basically since I made my second set because I fell into lava like an idiot. So anyway, we'll start with where I started. So I started over here, and this room got a significant facelift after I moved out of it, but this was my first little home, and it was literally just this big. It used to be stone, obviously, and there's a big quarry over here. I'll show you. Boop, boop, boop. So there's a I started with a turtle quarry and it didn't work because he went the wrong way. And then the chunk unloaded and he did all kinds of funky stuff. And then I started with this little turtle. I think this is a turtle. This is my first little turtle quarry. And so he just dug down, did his thing. And so that got me my first bit of resources. And then I moved on to some other stuff, which I'll come on now. So then when I finally got my actual quarry, because I had dug up enough resources, I came over here and, you know, I built like a legit quarry, which, come on now. So it started over here and then, you know, dug out this little area. So I just wanted to get resources at that point. So that was the starting spot for me. And then, so, you know, oh shit, sorry. So then this became, after I moved out, so I had like some solar panels set up over here, which actually might still be there. And some other, you know, I had my whole system set up under here because I wanted to hide from the mobs as much as possible. So I would just close this little stairway and I'd be able to just mess around down here, building my stuff. And then when I got done with that, I decided it would be my nether room. So I went and farmed a bunch of netherrack and some other stuff that lives in the nether. Gold, glowstone, and this is actually just a one source block of lava up there. It kind of flows down, makes it look a little cool. Some fire to light it up, and you know, it's doing its thing. It's fun. So so that became that. I had some more elaborate plans for the exterior here that never got done because, again, I'm not a designer. So when I just want to have the thing that works and then move on, and that's ultimately what happened there. So, oh yeah, so this is a desert, right? So everything around here is a desert. All this grass is artificial. I placed it here with I placed a bunch of dirt with a wand of whatever it is, equal trade. And then I grew the grass there. I placed a couple grass blocks with a minium stone and grew all the grass myself. And I placed this entire lake by hand. I dug it out and figured out the dimensions and got all the water from, I think, this ocean over here. Brought it over here and transplanted it just so I could have a little lake. Just because, I don't know, why not? I also came over here and there's a, I don't have my goggles are revealing, but there's like a 900 aura node, like right up here in the top. Somebody had gotten here before me. This is actually one of the first things I saw. Somebody got here to this little temple before me and cleared it out. But I decided to stay in this little area. So anyway, the first thing I did was, like, literally the only goal I had starting out in the server this time was to get an ME system up and working. So get a drive and a couple of the these things, the storage disks, and access point, crafting terminal, etc. That was the first thing I wanted to do. I was hell-bent on doing that. That's what I did over in this little hole. Once I had that set up, then I just started to figure out how to power it. I didn't have power yet. I decided how to power it. I bought built a couple of solar panels, which turned out to be kind of a pain in the butt. Are they under here? Yeah, this is where the solar panels were. I don't mind messing stuff up because we're gonna go away soon. So yeah, I had a couple solar panels. They were working. You know, I had a couple of I had just regular furnaces, all that kind of stuff. So when I moved up here, I knew I was going to need a big automated ore processing system. So what I did was I made all these little recipes for all of my ores and all the stuff that I make on a daily basis, right? So then I just go mining, and let's see, we'll sort by number of items. If I go mining, you can see I've got a bunch of tin, I've got a bunch of iron, but it's all in ore form. So I don't have, let's see, I have a bunch of iron still, because I was crafting a bunch of stuff. I think I was crafting some tanks. And then let's see, like silver. See, I don't have any silver ingots, but I can craft them. So it'll take the silver ore, it'll grind it up, and then it'll smelt that into, or furnace it or whatever into the ingot from the dusts, and boom, 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 all done. So that's what this whole system, that's what this whole like little setup is. And I have the arrows only because it was recommended on the wiki. I don't know that it is necessary, but anyway. So all these guys are overclocked crap as far as I can get them. Either 9 or 10 overclockers per thing. And so they go super fast. So when I request a, so I have down here, I'll show you, my big MEs, or the big AE auto crafting system. It's just a 3x3 by however many tall that is system that has a bunch of heat sinks and a bunch of CPU processors and a bunch of make it go fast attitude in it. And so yeah, that's how that works. So basically I request, I'll put in like a full recipe for something. Let's see, just craftable stuff. Oops, craftable. So I'll put in like a crazy big recipe for something. Oh really? This is, oh yeah, so I have two systems. So anyway, yeah, I'll put in like a complex recipe, like even if it's sticky pistons. So for sticky pistons I have to pull sticky resin from over here. You can't, I don't know if you can see my mouse actually, you probably can't. So I have to pull sticky resin from over here at my little farm. So I have a bunch of logs that are all sticky resin so that I gravity gunned over here. And then, so it'll grab them when it needs them. If I have less than, I think 512 or something sticky resin in my system, and then it'll craft some iron for me, it'll craft some wood for me if I need it, it'll craft everything I need, and then build a piston and be done with it. So yeah, so that it does everything. Like I just have to literally just look up stuff and build it, especially common items, because I like automation. I like to be able to not have to deal with anything. So when I come over to my pattern encoder, I want to put in a full pattern for like a the grava suit, and never have to think about it. Just put in all the patterns, which is like a lot of them. Let me see. I think I have them still in the system. So yeah, here's the gravity suit. So there's the gravity chest plate. There's the blah 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 blah. I mean, if you've built it, you know there's like a bunch of different steps, and I built all the steps in the encoder, put them down here, and then just came down here, or went to the crafting terminal and said, hey, craft me a gravity chest plate, walked away because I have this place chunk loaded, and then came back like 20 minutes later and it was built. So it was awesome. It's great. This is my waste disposal system. So I have these little these export buses. So if I have too much sand, this thing says if I have more than 3,000 sand in my system, it's going to export it into this thing that just deletes stuff. So it just trashes it, basically. Next season, if we stick with this particular pack, this thing is going to create a singularity so that I can link two ME systems across worlds, and there's a bunch of stuff. Anyway, we won't talk about that now. But anyway, this is my trash system because I don't like to deal with, like, I just don't want to have to deal with managing this thing too hard. I want to be able to set up a quarry, know that I've got, you know, enough cobble, enough sand, enough dirt to last me a lifetime, which is 3,000 or 4,000, and after that it just deletes everything. And if not, I can craft sand or dirt or cobble from other stuff that I have around. So I'm not concerned about needing that stuff. I'm concerned about ores, I'm concerned about ingots and stuff that is storable, but other than that, I don't care about cobble, I don't care about the trash stuff, I just want to throw it away. So that's what I do, I throw it away. That being said, I think I only ran like 8 or 9 quarries the entire season because I was a little bit busy with school. Okay, so down here, this is, again, I'm not a designer, so I don't design well, but this is my, I do systems pretty well, and I do them pretty compact as far as I can tell. This is my, you know, Buildcraft power station. It's lava powered, like everything else. And it's a little tower. I like it. It works well. In the previous world I had to manage this a little more, but now that the update has happened, these don't burn. They don't burn magma if they are not using it. So I'm not requesting anything up there, so it's all good. It's my little laser system. I didn't have a lot, but I just needed to kind of throw it somewhere, so I did there. Just gonna build a nice big room, but poop on that. Okay, so this is, let's go back over. Oh, where am I going? I'm lost. Where am I? Oh no, I'm so lost. Okay, there it is. So, where is my food? Do I have food? I need food. Bread. Damn it, no bread. Right, these are craftables. Bread? No? Potatoes? Yeah, potatoes. Okay. So... I think I actually stole these potatoes from Spawn, because I don't like cooking stuff. Or farming stuff. Terrible, I'm a terrible person. So this is my TheMeFund room. I actually kind of like the design here. I got some ebony wood from Seeks, I think, to make it sort of darker in here. And I made some dark glass, so it's all kind of dark and mysterious. And then there's this. I need to figure out a way to... My next world, I'm going to figure out a way to get water into this automatically. I think you can do it from the side. I thought you only could do it from the top. If you can do it from the side, I would have rather 3 alembics and 1 automatic water from some other sort of system, so I don't have to have this weird... This is weird to me, that this table is sort of sitting here on top of water. It's strange. If you didn't know, you can use an interface with golems as their chest. So I have this crafting glass files, which, let's go over and look at that. So at some point I had it crafting glass files, and it crafted 408 of them. I definitely don't need that many, because I don't do a lot of TheMeCraft, because it's not, I can't automate it as well, or as easy. It just takes too much time and I get bored. So, yeah, so I just have it set up here. I got my little golems. I like them. They're cute. But I'd rather set this up in a way that doesn't... I don't know, maybe I can extract... Well, we'll have to experiment in the next world. Maybe I can extract these guys directly into these guys with some other kind of system. I have a bunch of these set up. I was a little upset that I had to use marker blocks for the warded jars, because they're a little bit ugly. And I would have rather had this whole thing be glass or the rubber wood behind here, so I don't have these weird white dots, but whatever. I mean, it still looks pretty good. I like it. It works. So then over here I have sort of some of the Buildcraft stuff. This guy is crafting these things because I needed a bunch of them for overclockers, and it's a pain in the butt to carry all those because they don't stack. So blah 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 blah. Water bucket also here in case I need anything for any of my recipes. So great thing about Emmy is if you put a recipe in one of these things, it knows that you have it over there, so it'll craft it. It's great. Yeah, so anyway, that's all that. It's pretty self-explanatory. You get it. You know how these work. Then my little, my little Twilight Forest room. I kind of like it. It looks pretty good. I used to have some of the cicadas on the walls, but they got super loud and annoying, so I took them off. I killed them. I don't have anything on the other side of the Twilight. In fact, I didn't spend much time in Twilight Forest this season. Whereas I used to spend a couple more. Gravitation. I spent some more time the past seasons with other groups of people, exploring and killing things like the Hydra and blah blah blah. But Twilight Forest didn't really get an update this time, so I don't care. This is my cotton field. I need a lot of cotton at some point, so I got all that. And then this is actually an interface, except I covered it with a grass, dirt facade, which I was really hoping I could make a grass facade, but I can't, which is super dumb. So anyway, whenever I need cotton, I pull out a little straw golem from my system and put him down here, and he does this thing. I used to have a need for cocoa now too, or at some point, but I really don't need it anymore, so got rid of that. I think it was for bees. I think the whole system is for bees, actually. This is a very complex system for linking two ME systems. So you do it with logistics pipes. It's totally possible. It works. It's just a little wonky and it's not as smooth as the linking that the guy who created the ME mod has actually put together. So I'm glad that in our next update we'll actually have the full what do they call it, singularity things. I think that'll be much better. Here is, I don't remember, squeezer for I think nuts or something, I don't know. So yeah, so I have a big tower, I don't know if you saw that, big tower of geothermals. I think it's like 50 of them, something like that, something a little bit outrageous like that, I don't know, but whatever, I never need to worry about it. And then I have like 7 or 8 MFSUs here, yeah, 8. I never really have to worry about power because I'm not using that much. The thing I had to worry about with power was bees, so we'll go over my bees system. Now bees is something I didn't actually finish. As I said, I moved into a desert, which was, I didn't plan on doing bees because I thought bees were too complex. I found out they're not that complex. So this was a setup I was going to start using. It's 9 alvearies, and I was hoping that I could breed some wintry bees, or icy bees or something, and I could get the icy, what is it, the +2, yeah, the both 2 temps toleration, or whatever. But if you need icy stuff, which I was going to need for force engines at some point, then they still can't survive. It's still too hot and arid for them. So that was a pain in the butt. So next time I'm going to set up in somewhere a little more moderately climate so that I can do that. So these are all my little stuff. This is an incredible, it was all supposed to be temporary. So I used force logs and force wood to make it kind of look honey-ish. These are actually storage buses, so you can look at it here. I covered them with force logs, which I thought was cool. This is an interface, and so the whole thing is basically these. This was my storage for all my bees, or was going to be, because the ME system gets super weird about bees, because each species has all these weird traits and individualities, so they're all individual, so they fill up an ME system really fast. So I use logistics pipes and bee sinks to fill these. It worked pretty well. I'm going to definitely use that next time because logistics pipes is actually pretty good. But yeah, it's super compact and way too disorganized. It's hard to get to stuff, and this is the end system for the whatever, blah 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 blah. Bunch of crap you don't really care about. This was going to work, didn't work. So that's actually kind of the whole base tour. Again, I don't have a lot of design here, and I had to take a lot of time off because of school and other things. This was going to be TheMeFund over here at some point. I thought about it, building like a tower or something, because the node over here was so strong. And I thought about actually fencing off my whole little neighborhood, but it never worked out either. this is actually a beach biome, so I was able to set up for bees because it's more temperate. And this, don't tell Sikhs, but this was an accidental, I wasn't sure where my homestead actually started and ended. And I figured since I was way the hell out here in the middle, or the end of nowhere, that's no one would mind me. No one would mind me just taking the big spot in the ocean. Oops. No one ever complained, and no one ever came out here. So, I mean, I kind of got away with it, but which is why I picked the edge of the map. Next time, I'm not going to pick the edge of the map, and I'm not going to do something like this, because I didn't actually quarry out all my base, which is something I noticed a lot of people did, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to do that. I've heard something about if you do that with Thaumcraft, it would screw stuff up because all your shards would be all screwy. I don't know. I wasn't sure, so I didn't do it. But next time, I'm just going to quarry out my whole base and not have to worry about going out to the ocean or something. So yeah, that's kind of the tour, I guess, since I know we're about to depart from Season 1. We'll see what happens. I think Season 2, I'm going to start with bees, because they're much more interesting and fun than I originally thought they were. They're tedious, but they're interesting and fun, which is something I'm all about, especially if, so my whole thing is I use the genetic machines. So I'll breed until I get a species, and then I'll pull all the traits from that species. So I have like, I have all the species theorems, or serums down here. So all the interesting little, I've got all these, I like this. This makes it feel less random and more controlled, which is something I have interest in. This is my serum destroyer. But so this makes it better for me. I like this a lot. So I'm going to start with that stuff next season, I think, because I can advance pretty far in bees pretty quickly, and then I won't have to worry too much about, iron or, any of the metals and stuff. I won't have to worry about farming too much for basic materials. I can just have my bees do it for me. But I'm going to set up somewhere a little more like foresty or meadows or something, so I can have a lot of bees, and then do the bees thing, and then I'll worry about other stuff. I wish we could get Thaumcraft 4 for next season, because I'm totally bored with the Thaumcraft 3 system. It just feels really silly and tedious to me. And then I don't know what I'll do next. I plan to do something with these cows and some of the Mind Factory Reloaded stuff, but it never seemed to work out. So I think that might be it for me. Thanks for watching, and if you have any fun suggestions, let me know in the comments below. I do read them. Okay. You got the earth. See you later.